Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about what our firm does. We basically are creating a system based in Europe to have the best of both worlds between European continent and US continent. Our idea is basically to create a group that integrates several entities, and due to the kind of convention that we are in, we put in front the law firm, which is not a typical law firm because, as you could see on the prospectus that you have, we are not doing any litigation. We are basically a law firm who has chosen to give to old pals of the university everything that was litigation, and we don't want to make money from it. What we do is we make agreement, we do contract, we organize IPOs, and we organize all sorts of financings, going from a simple bank credit or corporate credit at a bank, and going up to full-blown IPO, multi-billion-dollar IPOs. We are involved in a number of things, and we are trying to act a bit as a general contractor would do. But instead of building, something like a house or a castle, we are building financing. We have noticed that there was a number of people who basically, in the beginning, didn't know how to see us because we were not really consultants, we are not really lawyers because we don't go to the bar, at least we are not attorney at law. And after a while, we found finally who the people that we want to deal with are. We have a lot of US companies who are our clients, but most of our clients are coming from Europe and doing their Reg A Plus or their IPO in the United States. I believe that the United States are now the main market, the main stock market of all. I don't believe European market as such exists, and I'm going to explain to you why I say that. Every continent has its strengths. In the American culture, what I respect the most is that it's the only culture that has integrated risk and associated risk with opportunity. In Europe, people are very reluctant, very risk-averse, and most of the products that we would propose to them, whether it's a private equity or whether it's something illiquid, is regarded as a big risk, and nobody wants to be associated with that. What we have seen over the years is that when we were doing a Reg A Plus, say, in the States, and we would raise in the States 5 or 10 million, the 45 or 40 million missing to go up to 50 were raised like that in Europe. Why? Because as soon as there is a name, even if it's not a big bank, even if it's not Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, or all these big boys, but a simple broker-dealer, US broker-dealer, inspires in Switzerland and in Europe big trust. You have a high credibility. And we have decided to play on that, and over the years, this has guided us to doing many IPOs successfully, to be able also to help people who were in difficulties with their own fundraising. And I heard the gentleman before me who was very impressive in his marketing approach. But what I can say is, you have, on one hand, the capacity to make a marketing operation and to do it very well. And this doesn't guarantee you to have your securities actually sold. It's one thing to advertise properly or to promote properly. It's another thing to actually reach the goal and pass the line and to be able to say, I've sold it all. I think we are offering new ways and new accesses to the market. Why? Because we operate not only through the traditional channels of banks and through the decision process, but also through the union of traders, through the syndicate of brokers, through people who basically are out of the conventional method and who basically can support us. We also have a lot to do with European pension funds. That's why it's very interesting for a company to join deals or to organize deals in the US, because very often what you're limited to doing here, we have the complement there. Basically having one foot on each continent or building that non-existent bridge is something that is very profitable and something that results in interesting achievements. This system has allowed us, for example, to raise over $150 million on a deal that in the US had barely reached 12 million and who was basically finished, and everybody said it's useless that you even touch it because it will not go any further. Right now the company is well on its feet, going higher, and I think this is something that should be extended. A lot of people, due to the cryptocurrencies, now are turning to Switzerland, going in Zug or in Zurich Valley in order to raise the money. And you should, because there is a lot of money available there, and also because there is a market developing that is interesting. But I want to put one caveat forward. This is not a market. And it seems like, why? You just said that there is all this capital available and people are investing. So why wouldn't there be a market? Because it's not continuous. What is happening there is something that has been happening for decades already, long before any cryptocurrency was known, long before even shares were invented. The idea is the following. We have an accumulation due to the system where a lot of people used to traditionally put their savings in Switzerland. And even though Swiss bank secret is not what it used to be, people keep on, because it's only 10 years from the final abolition, and people think of Switzerland as the ultimate refuge. So basically every 5 years or 6 years, you've got several hundred of billions piling up in this country. And then they are invested a bit, in various fields. And at this time, it is invested, of course, in cryptocurrencies. What one should think is that it's not the easiest thing for these bankers to find new investment. They are, in between two things. Is it something legit? And is it something that is going to last? But they still put a few billion in it, and it's enough to grow a market, especially in this particular market. The problem is that there is no liquidity. I repeat, there is no liquidity. That means that once they have acquired the first securities, and if you have acquired your securities or your token or your coin side by side with them, they will never buy it. They will never buy it. So that's why I say it's not a market, because for me, the first definition of market is to ensure liquidity. I'll finish in 10 seconds. What I wanted to add to this thing is the following. If you're looking for ways to go beyond the 50 million barrier, please talk to us, because we have a number of new solutions, and we have a number of possibilities to help your fundraising activity. And we have validated each of these solutions with the SEC, even for the one we have not yet tested in real terms. I thank you for your attention, and I thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of you.